Hello, and welcome to Other Voices, brought to you by Peninsula Peace and Justice Center. I'm your host, Paul George. 10 years ago this month, Haiti suffered a catastrophic earthquake. On January 12th, 2010, 100,000 people were killed instantly, and nearly 1 million people were displaced. What's happened in the 10 years since, as Haiti, the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, tries to recover? And now, 10 years later, Haiti is undergoing another earthquake, this one of a political nature. And that's what we're here to talk about today, the recovery and what's happening in Haiti politically right now. Joining us to help us learn about this, what's happening on the ground in Haiti, I'm very pleased to welcome to Other Voices, Sophia Zhang. Sophia is a senior at Los Altos High School and a member for 3 years of the Los Altos High School Haiti Solidarity Club, you call it, right?
Yeah.
Welcome, Sophie. Thank you for coming down here.
Thank you for having me.
And also returning to Other Voices after too long of an absence. I'm really glad to welcome back my old friend Pierre Labossiere of the Haiti Solidarity Committee and longtime renowned human rights activist here in the Bay Area. If you're out at any kind of political demonstration, whether it's Haiti or anything else around the world, you'll find this guy there. Pierre, thanks for coming back.
Thank you,
and coming down from the East Bay. Let me just get a little background on your groups. I'll start with you. Just give us a real quick thumbnail of what Haiti Solidarity Committee does. You started in '91, I think it was?
Yes, exactly.
The election of Aristide, Jean-Bertrand Aristide.
That's correct. We were meeting before. We had a group, an ad hoc group that was meeting to deal with the situation in Haiti, trying to understand what was going on and everything else, and supporting the movement. And when President Aristide was elected, he was a parish priest, and he was elected. There was a delegation from grassroots organizations in Haiti that came to the Bay Area in 1991. And they asked us, they said, look, Haiti is completely misunderstood and unknown. So what we require from you, if you can help us, is to get our voices from Creole translated into English to let people know the realities that we are living in Haiti and what's at stake there. And so that's how the group got started, and we developed the Haiti Action Committee. And the term Haiti Solidarity is actually the name of our newsletter.
Okay.
Haiti Solidarity. No, that's fine, that's fine.
We're going to have to change the credits on their video because I got it wrong. But we'll get the website right.
Yeah, that's fine. And so since then, we've been working in solidarity with the people of Haiti, with grassroots organizations there, and it's been to... we didn't think there would be a coup d'etat. And then once we got through the first coup d'etat of 91 through 94, and Paul, the Peninsula Peace and Justice Center was right there fighting for the return of democracy to Haiti. President Aristide was returned thanks to the resistance inside Haiti and also international solidarity, which the Peninsula Peace and Justice Center played a major role. Thank you again for that. And to this
we actually, and this will speak to the effectiveness of your work, we actually put Haiti on our own radar before '94 because I got a copy of one of Aristide's translated speeches through you guys, and we ran it in our newspaper.
Wow.
And shortly after that, a young student from Stanford showed up with all kinds of books about Haiti and tapes and stuff, Paul Namfi. Ended up on our board of directors, and he's back in Haiti now. So
exactly.
Our organizations are intertwined and have been for a long time.
Very much so. And then we thought it was time for celebration with President Aristide's return. There was democracy. The country seemed to be meeting the challenges towards development, towards a democratic system, and where the needs of the people were going to be addressed. And so by 2004, there was another coup, this time by Bush the son. The first coup of '91 was organized by Bush the father. The second coup was Bush the son. And in Haiti, people refer to him as Baby Bush. A
reference to Baby Doc.
Papa Doc and Baby Doc and whatever.
Yeah.
And so this coup d'etat, we can say that that was a political earthquake.
Yes.
and it was major, over 10,000 people killed, massive disruption of the society, and Haiti hasn't been right since that time. The UN, there was a United Nations occupation as a proxy for the United States.
Let's
We can
return
start.
to that. And let me hear from Sophia just
Yes.
briefly about what the Haiti Solidarity Club, and do I have the name right, or did I mess
Oh
that
yeah,
one
it's
up?
it's the Students for Haiti Solidarity, but it's pretty long,
Students for-
so
okay.
it's referred to by many different names. It was actually created after the earthquake because our teacher Seth Donnelly wanted to take students down to Haiti after the earthquake to help out in the aftermath, and in the process, as they were working with different groups, they started working with a school, and they went to the school board and wanted petitioned for it to become our sister school. And after that, the board agreed to. And after that, the club just continued on helping the school and other organizations down in Haiti with whatever they're working on, whatever they need. They mostly tell us what they want, what they're working on, and we just help out with that in trips that we go on. But even when we're not going on trips, here at home, we run different kinds of events, educational events, where we want to educate people in our community, like our close community, like our school and our parents, about what's going on in Haiti, and also by meeting with our local representatives and congresswomen about what concerns us in the country and what we would like them to do about it.
How many times have you been to Haiti yourself?
I've only been once because the scheduled trip last year ended up being canceled because many people had concerns about the safety of us being there, and then the previous year was the first time I'd been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what did you do yourself on that trip?
On that trip, the woman we worked with was watching over a group of girls whose parents were unable to take care of them, and they were building a house at the time, for the new house for them at the time, and we were helping them paint it and fix it up and get those kinds of things ready, as well as meeting with other journalists and groups there, and we make a trip to Cité-Soleil every year to meet with the kids there and play soccer.
The meetings with other groups in Haiti, I assume you learn a lot about the political situation.
Yeah.
And what's your overall impression? One of the reasons I got attracted to Haiti is the powerful grassroots movements there from the people. Do you get that sense on your trips there?
Definitely. All the journalists, and we talked to Aristide, President Aristide's wife as well at their school, and all the journalists we talked to had such engaging experiences where they were like every single one of them and every single person we talked to, even if they weren't super a big political figure, were so involved with everything that was going on that we had heard about, and most people it wasn't just a thing that had also been happening while they were living there, but something they themselves had been a part of, and everyone cared about what was happening with the government.
A high level of political awareness and,
Yeah.
and direct involvement.
For sure.
On a broad scale of the population.
Right.
Let's do some earthquake follow-up first, since it is the 10th anniversary, and we humans love 10th anniversaries of things. The recovery process, and especially the UN presence, didn't go very well. There was an editorial, actually, in the New York Times just last week about the problems of the UN soldiers and abuse of the people there. And, of course, there's the cholera story. Just spend a little time on how the recovery went. Is Haiti still recovering from this earthquake 10 years later? And then what do we need to know about that part? And then let's get into the current political earthquake, as we've referred to it.
Right. Over 300,000 people were killed by the earthquake.
300,000. I think I said 100,000.
Yeah, 300,000.
Yeah.
But another 300,000 were injured by the earthquake. And so about 1.5 million people were made homeless, were living in makeshift shelters. It was terrible. Close to, I believe it was 12 cities and towns were damaged severely,
Yeah.
different degrees of devastation. It really wrecked the economy of the country. So
300,000 people, what's the population? It's about 10 million?
population about 10 million. I've heard 11 million, between 10 and 11 million.
It's a substantial percentage of the population to
Very,
perish suddenly.
very,
Yeah.
very. And the recovery, I tell you, it's been heartbreaking to see that. Because the world community, and I don't mean by that the governments who call themselves friends of Haiti or the the real international community, meaning people like you, people in the audience.
We raise thousands of dollars down here.
Millions.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the members of the elite in Haiti, you had the Clinton Bush Foundation, the Red Cross, and others, big NGOs, took charge. And so what happened is that there have been so many things written about where did the money go.
Right.
And it's been scandalous because many schools that were destroyed were not rebuilt. Many hospitals, to this day, many hospitals were not rebuilt. The people who made out very well were the big top.
The people who always make out
Who
well.
always make out well. And I've lived through 2 hurricanes in Haiti, and it's a familiar story. It's a mad scene. Some people were telling me, I had some friends say, well, now it's different, blah, blah, blah. I say, well, you know, I'm like St. Thomas. I will have to wait and see. But from what I know,
Yeah.
And sure enough, it was terrible. So we had 4,000 schools destroyed
Wow.
in Haiti. There were many, many people also. For example, a school of nursing school collapsed on top of all the students. So many in different things like that. So it affected really the country, the future of the country. But people, from day one, it was supposed to be rescue and recovery effort. That was mostly done by Haitian people. The people were digging through the rubble with their bare hands to get people out. The UN was there with heavy equipment and all of that, but they were very much focused on getting their own people out, which I can't fault them, but also some of the rich folks. But when it came to the poor were helping everybody. And the aid from the outside community, that was under the Obama administration, President Obama. It was very militarized, so much so that there was a number of complaints from foreign governments, including France, even though France participated in the coup d'etat. But somehow they couldn't get, many governments who were sending help couldn't get their planes to land because the focus was on militarily controlling Haiti, so that for whatever reason, it's like my turf. And people were complaining about it.
Right, and like a lot of other organizations, like the money that they donated wasn't really going, even if it wasn't going to military, it wasn't going to help the people either, right? Like the Clinton Foundation like made the Oasis Hotel, right? And they just funded a lot of fancy hotels for rich people, but not anything to help.
This was the earthquake relief, was to fund the building of a new hotel? Is that what you're saying?
And a number of other ventures like that. And this is why today, I know we'll be coming to this, you are seeing the Haitian people have been in the streets now for years in protest, outrage, anger, because nothing is working right for them. The state of the healthcare, clean drinking water is not. There was so much money. Let me give you some figures. It's been estimated that at least $12 billion, $12 billion
with a B,
were actually, some people say more. Venezuela had started the Petro-Caribe program, and that program raised about $6 billion.
Explain what that program is.
The Petro-Caribe program was something that President Hugo Chavez had started, and it was to provide oil at a very low rate to countries, not just Haiti, but to countries throughout Latin America, the Caribbean, and in return, the money, and it was below market rate, below world prices. So the governments could sell that
resell
oil,
it, make a profit.
and that profit was to be used for social programs, for things to help the population. Schools, clean drinking water, hospitals, public transportation, and what have you. But what happened in Haiti is that a lot of this money just vanished. And I'm giving some low figures here. It's been estimated about $6 billion were actually monies that were in the pot. And $4.2 billion vanished.
Jeez.
Vanished. And so into the pockets of officials, foreigners, and the masses of the poor people in the country never got anything out of it. On top of that, there was a tax being taken on phone calls because Haitians, we call Haiti frequently. The phone calls, the taxes are being taken, huge taxes. To call Haiti, it's very expensive to call because of the taxes.
You have to pay a tax to Haiti to
yes,
call
to the
Haiti?
government of Haiti. That's right. So the
They don't miss a trick.
No, not at all. And furthermore, when you send money to Haiti, the government takes a tax of $1.50 on the amounts that you send. So there are thousands of transactions, I would say millions of transactions that go through, and they get $1.50 supposedly to help the schools, to build schools, to pay teachers' salaries. Many teachers, most teachers haven't been paid in months, some in years. They have to take to the streets to demand their pay. People who clean up the streets, sweep the streets, they don't get
They're
paid.
not getting paid.
And all this money, so many people are, I should rephrase that, you have so many people becoming millionaires. Now, I don't mean so many in terms of numbers, but among the politicians,
Yeah.
it's outrageous.
This idea of remittances is something that's important to a lot of countries
Exactly.
in the developing world. And one thing I wanted to ask about directly related to the earthquake recovery was that the United States, right after the earthquake, granted Haitians temporary protected status so that they could leave Haiti, come here with relatives and stuff, and stay without fear of being deported or anything. But Trump has announced that he's withdrawing temporary protected status for Haitians. Is that right? And what effect will that have?
Oh, terrible. There are 59,000 direct TPS recipients. These were people who were either here in the US, even during the Obama administration. People who had relatives who could have come to join them, who had already filed their papers, who could have come to the US. It was made very hard for them to join their relatives. I know because a number of people were contacting me, who were contacting our congressional representatives for assistance for some of those people. And so that it was very difficult to do, even under the Obama administration. When Trump became president, he actually denounced that entire program and said that from now on, all the 59,000 people who benefited from the TPS, but in the meantime, they have their children, they have what have you. So the number is estimated as close to 200,000 people who would be affected, family members would be affected by this decision. So there was a number of
And
lawsuits.
where does that stand? Have they started to enforce the rescinding, or?
I haven't gotten the latest on that, but there has been a number of lawsuits that were successfully argued, and some decisions to stay by the by several judges, and which the Trump administration has been fighting. So it's been.
So we're back in the courts, like everybody is with this administration.
Exactly.
Try to do anything, you have to go to court.
But that would be a terrible thing, because in Haiti, not only did we have the earthquake, but we had several hurricanes, devastating. In 1 year, we had Sandy and another hurricane that really devastated Haiti. Then in 2016, we had Hurricane Matthew that devastated the southern peninsula of Haiti. I mean, complete devastation. Mm-hmm. So it's been a real challenging, and that takes us into climate change, the virulence of all of this, and how it's impacting countries like Haiti. You know, Puerto Rico just had an earthquake, and my deepest sympathy, my deepest solidarity go to the people of Puerto Rico.
Yeah, that sounds
as
pretty
we are
serious
talking on this anniversary of the Haitian earthquake.
So there's been this tremendous graft and people embezzling money, especially from this Petro-Carib program. I take it this became public knowledge somehow. People know that the graft is happening. Have you talked to people about this on your trips there?
Yeah, actually, I've talked to people about this on my trips there, but I've actually heard a lot more about it up in Oakland, where Haiti Action Committee runs several events, and several times I've been up there and listened to journalists present with Pierre translating, of course, about
Haitian journalists.
Haitian journalists, yes, who've traveled here to talk about the things they've known, and I believe that the Petro-Carib scandal was made public by an official report of some sort of the government. Yeah, but I heard the most about Petro-Carib when one of the journalists came here and told us about the investigating he did, and also the results of the protests that happened in protest of the Petro-Carib scandal and the deaths that were happening because of that.
There was an investigation of the Petro-Carib?
Yes, there was. In Haiti,
was it an investigation or an investigation?
no, it was both. Investigation and a more serious investigation. And there is a unit in the Haitian government, similar to the GAO office in the US. And so that unit uncovered that $3.8 million had vanished. And they named the president of Haiti, the current president, Jovenel Moïse. He wasn't elected by the people. He was imposed by the UN as our president. I was present for the elections. I saw it.
That's what we need to talk about.
That's another story.
Yeah.
But, so his name came up several times, over 30, some people have said 60 times, as being part of the corruption. And there are other politicians as well who are getting in on the action in taking the money. And so what they would do, they would promise that they would set up either stadiums or they would build a school, or a lot of land grabs take place. For example, in downtown Port-au-Prince, they were supposed to rebuild the downtown area, and they moved that whole community of people. I went to the site and I was blocks after blocks after blocks of houses were razed or bulldozed. I spoke to 5 of the families, and they say that 3 o'clock in the morning, they were awakened by people who told them to get out. The police, accompanying thugs, came in, pushed them out, ransacked their homes, stole their stuff, and many of them only had, like, let's say, a backpack or something that they stuffed something in and got out. And that whole area was raised supposedly to build things, to rebuild the downtown area.
Rebuild homes.
Rebuild homes, but nothing has been done. Many of the people own their own homes, and it didn't matter. And they were not compensated or anything. Other things that I've seen and heard, and what has enraged the Haitian population, they would take some land, a plot of land, and they would put around it some red sheeting, metal sheeting around to obstruct the view. And for a week or two, you'd see trucks go in and out, like as if something was being built there, and then nothing else. And after a while, people started tearing those metal sheets to see what was going on. Nothing but weeds growing there and what have you, and nothing got built. But somebody got paid.
To drive a truck in and out.
Not just that. Companies, construction companies got paid millions. And when they verified, nothing was built there. And those millions were gone, vanished. And so it's been that investigation actually listed all of the different companies that were making money out of that. Many of them were, how do you call them? They were not real companies, real firms. And so shell companies, precisely. And that's what was going on. So anything you could think of was happening there. And so the population is fed up. They are outraged. They say no more of this because they are suffering. People are hungry in Haiti. They are not getting clean drinking water is terrible. You know, the water system, the healthcare situation. You go to the main hospital, public hospital in downtown Port-au-Prince, Hôpital Général, where most of the people go. And you will be on the floor, bleeding, and there is no help coming to you. Many in the maternity ward. There is a French journalist who did go there to give, I think she was a nurse, but she went to give her hand, and she had a camera follow her everywhere. At the end of her tour, she broke down. It's in French, so I watched it about 2 months ago. She broke down. She just couldn't take it anymore. The carelessness, the lack of care for human life. And this was happening under the UN, and the UN is still there in charge of the country, though they claim that they left in 2017, but that's not true. It's because the scandal has reached such a point that people are asking questions. What is the UN doing?
Yeah.
Right. So in 2017, they said they pulled out of the original, I forgot what it's called, but the original project, right? And they said MINOSTA, yeah, because it was because of the cholera thing, where they a lot of the UN soldiers, primarily the ones from India, I believe, had the waste of the UN base had like contaminated the rivers and water in Haiti, and many people had gotten cholera from it, and it was confirmed and proven by many people. So of course the UN was receiving a lot of backlash, and they then said that they would pull out, but they just replaced it with a new project called MINUJUST. Very similar but different.
You really have to get used to acronyms when you deal with Haiti, don't you?
And now it's BINU. BINU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Many different names. But
it's to add to what you're saying about the cholera. The numbers are, at first they kept saying 10,000 people were killed by the cholera epidemic, but it's more than that.
And Haiti had never had cholera
Nope,
before
not
this.
for the past 100 years have we had cholera. So it was well established where this came from. And I myself and others were outraged because instead of the UN mobilizing its tremendous resources to help when the cholera epidemic first hit, we are talking August 2010, October 2010, the end of October, beginning of November 2010, they were busy issuing press releases to say they had nothing to do with it. When photographs and the people in the community were saying, yes, here is the pipe that's coming from your base, taking the waste into the main river, the Artibonite River, that is used by people to bathe, to drink, to water their fields. This is a prime rice growing area, and people downstream were getting sick. It was very obvious.
But it took years ultimately for the UN to even admit that they were the source of the cholera.
Precisely.
And
Going
Has
to
there
court.
been any compensation?
yeah, like once they owned up, they said they would give compensation to the people who had been affected, but I think they raised a little bit of money, but they did not do what they said they would do. I think they said they would raise 400 million to compensate the people that had been affected by the cholera outbreak, but none of that happened.
Yeah, no, none of that. And Attorney Mario Joseph has been in the BAI, Bureau des Avocats Internationaux, the International Lawyers Bureau in Haiti, has been really pushing this thing internationally, along with Brian Concanon, you mentioned, and others as well. There have been other attorneys, but these two are the main driving force of this, trying to get justice for the cholera victims. So it's safe to say that over 15,000 people were killed by this cholera epidemic that was unleashed on the Haitian population.
Let's talk for a minute before, and then I do want to get to our audience and what their questions are, but let's talk for a minute about who this government is that is ripping off its own people and how we got there. And I'll start this question by reminding people that when Jean-Bertrand Aristide, this parish priest that you talked about, was first elected in 1991, he was the first democratically elected president of Haiti, and his presence, the next time he ran for election, saw the highest voter turnout. I think it was around 70%. Put our voters to shame, basically.
If not more. We think it's more.
Who are the governments? What were the elections like since then, or since the earthquake, that have installed such a kleptocratic regime?
Right. So when Moise was elected, the official results of the election say that he had a majority vote of over 50%, but the investigations done by Haiti Action Committee, I know, and other groups, when they visited Haiti and polled and investigated, they discovered that about only 6% of the population, I believe, actually supported Moise, and other candidates, including Lavallas's candidate, received very, very few of the votes in the official results, but in reality, they know a lot of voters, especially ones in poor areas like Cité-Soleil and Port-au-Prince, definitely overwhelmingly supported the Lavallas candidate.
Lavallas being Aristide's party.
Right, right.
And it means, Lavallas means?
The flood.
The flood.
The cleansing flood. It's actually from the Bible talking about the waters. Let justice roll down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. And also it comes from a song of the movement that says each one of us is like a drop of rain, but all together we form a flood.
Yeah.
A flood of justice.
Thank you.
And peace.
That's why I wanted that explained. It's a neat thing.
Yeah, it is.
I interrupted you, Sophia.
No.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, and then people said that definitely there was ballot stuffing going on, and in Haiti they spend a lot of time counting the votes, right? And they think that some people that were counting the votes messed things up, and also the voting IDs were being sold illegally, I believe, right? And that some people were voting more than once, and some political officials were also voting multiple times.
Yeah, it's in the context, to add to what you're saying, it's in the context of the coup d'etat of 2004. 2004, there was a coup d'etat during the year of Haiti's bicentennial, the bicentennial of the Haitian Revolution. And so that's when Bush the son...
A revolution, we might remind people, carried out by slaves.
Indeed.
First one in
enslaved
the
Africans who broke their chains and fought against the combined forces, well, each one separately, of the British, the Spanish, and the French, and defeated them in order for us to be a free, independent nation, the second independent nation in Latin America. And I might add that Haiti wasn't content with just ending slavery in Haiti, because at the time, it was about reuniting the families. See, right now we are Jamaicans, we are Trinidadians, African Americans, but back then there had been a kidnapping of people's families, and there had been a breakup of the families. So people were saying, it could be my cousin over there. You see, it could be my sister over there, or my father, or my daughter, and people felt the need to challenge the system of slavery. So Haiti fought against slavery, and once Haiti became independent, Haiti also supported the abolition movements to abolish slavery. And not only that, but movements for peace and justice, supported revolutionaries from Latin America, from Europe, and different places. Haiti became a sanctuary country where anybody who was fighting for justice, for freedom, all you had to do is come to Haiti, and Haiti would finance you and send you out with volunteers who knew how to fight, and in order to train your armies and help you in the struggle for freedom. But with one condition: slavery had to be abolished. And so that's why to this day Haiti is paying such a heavy price. But we are talking about, and people in Haiti are connected to this history. And this is what fueling the present situation, the resistance of our people. So the dream of our foremothers and our forefathers.
This sense of solidarity with other repressed people in the world continues today.
It continues. And every time I listen to Radio Timon, which is the radio out of the Aristide Foundation, they talk about struggles taking place all over the world. They talk about the situation in the US. They talk about various things, that people... they talk about Evo Morales in Bolivia, where the latest coup took place. And people identify with that because they see that the programs that Evo Morales was establishing for the people of Bolivia, they see the connection between what President Aristide was doing for the people of Haiti, which is what? The slogan was, around the table, let us sit down together and make decisions together, because the money, the tax money, is our money.
Right.
The mineral wealth of Haiti belongs to the people. Why should the little 1% decide to take it all for themselves? And when other people don't have access to schools, to healthcare, to food, to clean water, and this little 1% has everything, and they are multi-billionaires. No, this is unjust. So people feel that they need to change the system, overturn the system, so that they can have a place of justice, so everybody can have their fair share in the society. That's what the movement is all about. And you talk to even little children, they'll tell you that in Haiti.
Yeah. Sophia, on your time there and talking to Haitians, did you get a sense of this acute awareness of their own history and sense of solidarity with other people? Did you have conversations about that?
Yes, definitely. Everyone was very connected to the history. And I know, like, for example, where we live in the United States, not everyone is very familiar with history and politics, and they're not as, like, fluent in, like, you know, what's going on now as well as what happened in the past. And in Haiti, everyone I talked to, not every conversation we had might have been about history or politics, but everyone, like, when they discussed things that were relevant, they spoke with the knowledge of what had happened in the past. And we had also visited a history museum where it definitely seemed like everybody was connected and familiar with the history, and it was relevant in their lives in a way that is definitely foreign to people here.
It was real in their lives, a real presence. Yeah, this is something I've gotten from Pierre over the years. How important this history is, and it's still alive and driving these movements today. Exactly. So back to the election question, it looks like massive fraud. The other thing is that it was very low turnout, right?
Well, that's what, and Sophia touched on this, and that's what I wanted to get into a little bit, because what happened was the turnout wasn't low. Very similar to what's going on in Georgia and various states in the South, also in Ohio and places where people are being disenfranchised.
So the numbers who are allowed to vote.
Like they'll go, they'll go and then they'll turn them away and say you don't have the right ID, or like you weren't registered, or they'll send them to really, really far voting places. So like for like the last 10 years, this person has been voting at this voting center, which is relatively close to their house, and they can get there. But then suddenly they'll be like, you're in the wrong place. Like you have to go to this place that's like super far away, and this person has no transportation there, and there's absolutely no reason for them to have been like switched to another voting place. Certainly, like they've been living in the same place, but they'll find all these different reasons to say that these people are actually not registered or registered for the wrong place and can't vote. So these people are turning out and trying to vote, but the government is stopping them from voting.
Sounds like the Republican National Committee has been working down there.
Well, yeah, no, that's true. That's true, because I was there in 2000, and International Republican Institute was actually doing a lot of these shenanigans there in Haiti. So what happened in Florida? I thought I was making a sarcastic No, you're correct. So what happened in Florida, I was trying to warn people. I said, look, Jesus had said what they do to the least among thee, that's what they will do to me, but that's what they'll do to you, right? I was sharing that with some people. And Florida happened. It was precisely that, what they were trying to conduct in Haiti, but the people had mobilized against it. The coup d'etat that took place in 2004 and this current regime is a product of that coup d'etat. The UN forces were brought in to take over from the French forces, the US forces, and the Canadians who had kidnapped President Aristide during the coup. So Brazil, to its shame, shame on Lula, they made Brazil
former leader of Brazil.
They made, former president of Brazil. Brazil was made the commander of the UN forces, which, by the way, committed many massacres in Haiti. Quite a number, at least 5 or 6, among unarmed people in Cité Soleil. We have the video to prove it, by the way. I'm not making this up. And so since then, all the elections have been won by the United Nations. We are Haitians, we are not supposed to know anything about democracy, we can't even win elections, according to them, a very racist view of Haitian people. And so every election that has been conducted since that time, I'm talking the 2006 election, the 2011 election, 2010, 2015, and which had to be redone because the fraud was so massive, it was exposed, and people took to the streets in record numbers and stopped it. But still, in 2016, I was there, and what Sophia is talking about, I saw it. I I was with Margaret Prescott, the reporter, and there was other people in the delegation. There were other people. So we visited at least 15 different voting centers, and it was the same story. So we witnessed that directly, what was going on. So the party of President Aristide from Valas went to court, and they had proof of the tally sheets being changed, of numbers, they had all kinds of proof. And as the Haitian court decided that there should be more investigation because they were showing enough proof, then word came directly from the UN and from the US recognizing Jovenel Moïse as having won with 55% of the vote first round, and he was imposed as president. So this is what
on the
bringing
intervention
us.
of the UN and the United States.
Yes, and the OAS. The OAS is, as they are playing a role right now in Bolivia, in Venezuela, they played that same role in Haiti. So it's terrible what's going on.
So let's roll it forward to the current political upheaval that's going on, and then we'll get to our studio audience here. I think I have this right, in the summer of 2018, despite this Petro-Caribe deal, the government announced that oil prices and things were going to go up, and that started some protests, and then the Petro-Caribe scandal broke, and there have been massive demonstrations in the streets. Talk about that period from when these demonstrations started in 2018 and up to where we are now.
So Petro-Caribe had already been known about before then, right? And people had already begun protesting, but that was when the government announced the rise in the prices, the protesting kind of became a lot bigger suddenly in that summer. And it became a big deal because a lot of the UN soldiers, or not the UN soldiers as well as the Haitian police force, which are trained and funded by the United Nations, began to fight against the gangs or like protect the people of Haiti, which really meant they were killing a lot of civilians and massacring protests and even sexually assaulting a lot of women and children there. And a lot of groups, including our teacher, went down and did investigative work too about what was going on with the Haitian massacres. And the soldiers were just brutally massacring all the protesters and saying that they were solving gang violence in the poorer neighborhoods of Port-au-Prince and other parts of Haiti, but really they were just massacring the protesters because they didn't want them speaking up against the government.
And these protests continue to today?
Yes, they are continuing to today. People see it as the word on the street is that we must overturn this rotten system. And so it's not about just changing a president, replacing one crook by another. It's about overturning the system of oppression and repression, exploitation and corruption that has robbed the Haitian people of their present and of the future. And so people are very clear as to the end game, the objectives. But this current government is heavily supported by the US, by the European Union and what have you. And so it's to their shame, but many people do not know really what's going on. Amidst that, let me just add, there is a bright ray of sunshine and hope.
Good.
There are grassroots organizations which Sophia has been working with, and Seth Donnelly and the students with the Haiti Solidarity Club. But also President Aristide, when he returned from exile 7 years after his exile, 2011, he vowed to reopen, to rebuild and reopen the University of the Aristide Foundation. And right now, we are now into 9 years later. It's flourishing, producing doctors and nurses and architects. They are physical therapists because it's based on the needs of the population. And every year they introduce a new school, like the School of Agriculture, because they see the country has a particular need. They work with the communities and then they introduce a new school. So right now they are in the process of building a teaching hospital. So we, the organization I work with, which is HERF, Haiti Emergency Relief Fund, we have vowed to help them collect money to help the building of the hospital, which will help not only the students, the doctors and nurses and what have you, who are studying there, but also it will help the population in the various communities that are there because they are not getting this kind of support, this kind of this level of service from the government.
Okay. I do want to turn to our audience, so if you have a question or comment, just hold your hand and wait for Julia to catch up with you with the microphone. And she's trying to make her way through the equipment here. So let me just ask you quickly, while we're getting the microphone out to the audience. I understand over 100 U.S. congressional representatives signed some kind of letter expressing concern about the human rights situation in Haiti. What can we encourage our representatives to do to really have an impact to try to reverse this situation?
Definitely just keep calling or talking to them however you usually communicate with your representatives about what you specifically are concerned with, and encourage them to continue supporting bills in Congress that will positively impact Haiti and withdraw.
Is there anything in Congress right now?
I'm not like super familiar with the exact things, but we have like you said, there was a letter, and I think right now we are mainly focused on wanting the U.S. government to also stop supporting the current regime of Jovenel Moïse.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, we have an audience question.
Hello, I'm Alice Smith, and I'm on the board of a local charity called Greater Good Haiti, and we run a school on the island of La Gonave, and we're all from Palo Alto or have Palo Alto roots. And the Earthship Biotech was going to build additional classrooms for us on this island, and of course they haven't come in because the airlines are not allowing people to come in, and their own insurance people have said it's too risky for us to build these additional education units. My comment is that our school has a 100% pass rate into matriculation into the middle school, and the school pass rates in Haiti is 20% of the very few people who even have an opportunity to get from elementary school to middle school. Our school is free. The Haitians charge money. If we don't attack education for these young people, they will have a will to change, but they won't have the skills in order to do the change. So I'm hoping that these various Aristide foundations and people like Greater Good Haiti will be able to change that formula, because right now Haiti is dying on its own potentially great kids. So I just wanted to comment about that, and thank you for everything you're doing. And I'm very impressed with Los Altos. I knew nothing about that program, so thank you.
Great, thank you, and thank you for the work that you're doing. Education was Aristide's big thing, right?
And continues to be.
Continues
and
to be.
also, it's something that the Haitian people themselves are very heroic in doing that. We support so many schools in Haiti and so many students who are going to school, because that's the first thing that community grassroots organizations will do. They'll set up a school, and or they ask for support for their kids to go to school. In Haiti, you have to pay for books, you have to pay for uniforms, even the government runs schools, the public schools, you have to pay for all of that. So it's very costly. One of the things that President Aristide had done is to make sure that when he was in office, he increased the education budget and was providing scholarships for students, because there weren't enough public schools. So even the private schools paying and providing 70% subsidy for parents to send their kids to schools. And so this was, but until we have a government that is a government by the people, that addresses the needs of the population, that is focused, that is on a program to help the population, we're not going to get it.
Until there's a government committed to addressing root causes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, and yeah, go ahead. And before you do, let me introduce, this is Seth Donnelly, teaches, is it civics or social studies that you teach at Los Altos High School?
Civics and U.S. history.
Keep the microphone right up there with
economics
you,
and
yeah, and Seth is the founder of the Haiti Solidarity Club, and author of fine publication, although it's grim stuff, the Labossiere Massacre and the Human Rights Crisis in Haiti, and a recent book that just came out from
Monthly Review Press.
Monthly
Yeah,
Review Press. I got the monthly and I was drawing a blank on the name. Terrific book.
Well,
Go ahead, Seth.
Thank you, Paul. It's been an honor. I've been working with Pierre for many, many years, and it's an honor to participate and be in the audience here, and also
Hold the mic up a little closer.
to work with Sophia, who's we were in Haiti together, and I wanted to add to what you were saying, Sophia, about the demands on Congress. Sophia met face to face with Representative Eshoo and with some other students last year, and the demands are real simple. To piggyback on what you're saying, Sophia, that we want the U.S. government to stop funding and training the Haitian police, and to stop diplomatically supporting this dictatorship. Right. The U.S. also financed the elections with their tax dollars, or what the Haitians call the selections. And of course, the U.S. was the primary player, along with France, secondarily, and Canada is a tertiary player in violently removing in the coup d'état against President Aristide in 2004. So we want our government to reverse, to stop supporting this dictatorship. And we know that, to add to what Pierre was saying, that when the people have power, when they have real democracy, they built more schools in a brief period, a Lavalas period, than the previous 150 years of Haitian history added together. So the issue is the schools will come when the people have power. And that's our job here in the United States, is to support this dynamic revolutionary movement for the people to seize power and have self-determination in their own country. So I just wanted to comment in that spirit. And then maybe, I don't know if Pierre or Sophia could comment. I don't know if viewers of this program or even in the audience know about the scale of the repression. You know, you've touched on it, but like, for example, the Labossiere Massacre, and to give people a sense of just what's really happening on the ground, what the United States is enabling through its foreign policy.
Thank you. Excellent comments, Seth Donnelly.
Yes.
Yeah, death squads have returned, the infamous...
Basically what has gone on, and that's why I refer to the coup d'etat, it's been a return to the days of Papa Doc Duvalier. And Sophie had mentioned when the police says they are fighting gangs, they are not really fighting. They call them gangs, which is a clever way to pull the wool over people's eyes, because those are death squads, financed, trained. The weapons, brand new weapons, are given to them so that they can kill opponents, political opponents. And so the Labossiere Massacre, it was supposedly, the story at first was that, well, these were two gangs fighting and people died. But then little children were among the victims. The older folks were among the victims. People in the community, men and women, who had nothing to do with anything. Mm-hmm. Then it came out that from the witnesses, from the survivors, that the police was actually protecting and working with the death squad. So there were policemen among who were in plain clothes.
In the background.
Doing, even doing actively the killing.
Wow.
I listened to a survivor, and by the way, you mentioned members of Congress, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, and actor and filmmaker Danny Glover, Margaret Prescott from the KPFK, and Judith Merkinson, who is the president of the National Lawyers Guild, San Francisco chapter, Seth Donnelly. Those were the people in a delegation. There were two delegations. Walter Riley, also an attorney in Oakland.
Walter's been on this program.
Precisely, they had gone.
He was here when we did the program about the earthquake all those years ago.
That's right.
Because Walter Riley was in Haiti when the earthquake hit. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget his appearance on this program because he just broke down in remembering about it.
That's right. And Brian Concannon was there. I don't want to leave anybody out. But what was so gripping about it is people telling us how the police was working with the death squads and massacring the population, burning people alive, hacking them with machetes. I'm sorry to be so graphic, but this is what was going on. And this is what is going on. And pretty much similar to what Papa Doc and the Tonton Marcouts were doing. So what we are seeing is a rebirth, is a resurrection of the death squad of the Tonton Marcouts of the Duvalier era.
As if we never had the Aristide era.
exactly. And all of this has been birthed, is being nurtured by the United Nations that's training these people, that is enabling them. I should be very careful the wording I use, that's enabling them, providing them with all kinds of weapons, training the police in Haiti, and through the police, these folks are establishing a reign of terror all over Haiti.
How comfortable do you feel going to Haiti? I mean, you must be aware of this.
Right. Yeah, so currently the school is not planning on returning this year because it's so violent.
Because of the situation.
Right.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah. And everyone in the group has read the report that you just brought up, and it was very graphic, and it definitely showed us the degree to which violence is happening in Haiti and how bad the situation is. And it's so much, like, you can't really understand. I can't really understand it because I wasn't there. And even Pierre giving the really graphic descriptions can't truly encompass like everything that the people are experiencing, because of the fact that they're being attacked by the police and the fact that the police are working with the death squads to kill innocent people.
When you met with Congresswoman Eshoo, do you get the feeling she understands, that she gets it, what's going on in Haiti, and that she's supportive of your requests?
I'm not certain that she totally understands everything that's going on, and even though she was definitely a great host and listened to everything we had to say, she hasn't taken as much action as we had hoped she would, and we definitely hope that our representatives in both the Senate and the House will take more action in the future to encourage the U.S. government to stop supporting these.
Pierre, 30 seconds to wrap it up. What thoughts do you want to leave us with?
I'd like to give our website.
Okay, it'll be showing up.
It will be showing up. And
HaitiSolidarity.net.
HaitiSolidarity.net. And also for people not to feel overwhelmed by this, because amidst the planned destruction of Haiti that's occurring, because Haiti has many mineral resources. We are not poor Haiti.
Yeah.
Haiti has oil. Haiti has uranium, iridium, copper, silver.
We need to finish.
And so this is what it is, what's going on. It's a fight to get this, to steal the resources.
And we'll be there with you. Pierre Labossiere, Sophia, Zhang, thank you for joining us here. I'm sorry, audience, we're out of time, but you can come up and talk to our guests after we go up. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you.